Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are introducing our second theme for the 2019 holiday making season with our second Christmas soap. So here we are. This is a white chocolate peppermint soap made with an in-the-pot swirl. The base of this soap is a blend of olive oil, castor oil, coconut oil, cocoa butter, of course, and some beef tallow. If you want to easily make this a vegan recipe, you can feel free to use cocoa butter instead of the beef tallow. The reason I didn't do that, kind of twofold. One, I have a ton of beef tallow that I'm trying to work my way through, but two, that's a pretty expensive amount of cocoa butter. If you're making a 1,500 gram batch of this soap, depending on where you buy your cocoa butter, you're probably looking at least $10 of cocoa butter there. So I tempered the amount of cocoa butter so that I kept the price down, but if you are vegan, that's a very easy swap to make. This soap is made up of a white part and a green part. The white part gets its white color from a pretty good amount of titanium dioxide, while the green part gets its color from some French green clay. Because I knew I wanted to include titanium dioxide in the soap, I included a water discount to reduce the chances of glycerin rivers. So Auntie Clara has a wonderful blog post about this, but the general gist of it is that if you sharply discount the amount of water that you use in a soap, you also sharply discount the chances that you're going to get glycerin rivers in your finished bars. For scent, I have used straight peppermint essential oil, but you could have a bit of fun here. There are some really beautiful kind of pepperminty, chocolatey, holiday-inspired fragrance oils that you might want to try, or you could look at including a bit of cocoa absolute to really amp up the chocolate scent. Part of the reason I didn't do that is because cocoa absolute is quite a dark brown, and I did want to make sure that I was able to get a kind of a white color for the white and green contrast, and I was worried that a hefty dose of the cocoa absolute would make that hard. If you do want to use a fragrance oil, please make sure you're researching it, checking up on reviews from people who have used it, and possibly also from the company that sells it, that will let you know how it behaves in soap batter. Because we are, trying to swirl this, if your fragrance oil causes your soap batter to really go on you and like really, really thicken up, you're gonna have a hard time creating that swirl. Speaking of the swirl, we are doing an in-the-pot swirl. So basically we're going to color our two separate parts of batter, and then you're pouring the green batter into the white batter, not really stirring at all, and then dumping that into your mold and letting the pour and the pour do our swirling. I find the end effect is really neat. It reminds me of a lot of very intricate Art Nouveau type decorations, but generally speaking, no matter what you do, yours is going to look different than mine. Most of these bars don't even really look very similar. The effect changes so much from bar to bar throughout the loaf, which is very cool. I think that's about it for preamble, so come on, let's get started. Before we start making the soap, I just want to do a quick overview of everything we have here. So in this pot, we have our fat blend, and the full details of that are in the description box below this video, but it has been melted and cooled to room temperature. We have our sodium hydroxide solution, again, mixed up, cooled to room temperature, full details of the superfat calculation and water discount in the blog post linked in the description box below. We have our essential oil, some French green clay, and some titanium dioxide that has been pre-dispersed in some olive oil. We have our mold just off screen, just there. Got some paper towels kind of just over there off screen. And we have another bowl for dividing the batter. And then we have, of course, our immersion blender. So our first step is going to be bringing our mixture to a thin trace. We're now going to split the batter roughly in half, and half of it we're going to color green with the French green clay, and the other half we're going to color white with the titanium dioxide in the olive oil. So for this one, I want to do a bit of a pot swirl. Because this is still fairly liquidy, it'll intermix quite readily, which also means we want to be sure to avoid overmixing, or we won't get very noticeable swirly patterns. All right, and that's that for the making part. So now I'm going to leave this to saponify for probably about 48 hours before slicing it. So see you then. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours since I poured this, and I want to unmold it now and check and see how hard it is. The fat blend is pretty soft, but that water discount is pretty steep, and things can get quite a lot harder than I often expect when using a steep water discount, which is a relatively new thing to me. So yeah, let's see where we are at hardness wise. There's a bit of a teaser of the swirl, but yeah, this loaf of soap is plenty hard, so we are going to be slicing it now. And there you go. So we just made some beautiful white chocolate peppermint Christmas cold processed soap. So before using or gifting, I would recommend leaving these bars to age for at least 3 weeks, though longer is always helpful for ensuring the bar lasts a good long time once it gets wet. Please make sure you are checking out the partner blog post for this project. You'll find that linked in the description box below or on humblebeeandme.com. There you'll find everything written out, links to places to buy all the ingredients, and a lot more other helpful information. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.